Forgot to record there. We're going to be doing a complete night of race management. So we're going to be doing the IMCA style for that. We're going to go through a complete night. We're even going to do some of the MRP live for points and everything. So we'll get started. We'll go through that. If you do have any questions, Alt and H is the place to do it. So we're going to be going through there, be answering all the questions in chat if you have them. So don't be afraid to chat in with questions that you have. If I don't answer them immediately, that's fine. I will go through them and answer them all when we get to that point, if that sounds like a plan. So let's take a look here. We'll go into our race management right here. I'm going to work in the 410 wing sprint class for today. We can see all the different other classes that I've added in. If you have any questions about adding in the schedule or how we got to this point where all this was, you can watch some of the previous videos. It goes over that. The ones that we did on Monday go over how to do all of that. The screen is blurry, huh? See if that. Said its screen is blurry. So there we go. I got rid of some optimization. Okay, there we go. Back to the regular scheduled program. Let's try out a different setting. So I guess that one doesn't work. Noted. So if you have any questions about how to set up a season, what that means, how to set up the classes into the races, Monday as the place to do that. If you want to know how to watch the recordings for Monday or anything at all, help videos, support. So you can also go to MyRacePass.com/YouTube. I'll be there as well. So we have the what we're going to be doing with pill draw and what we're going to be doing with transponders. So if this is your first night, say it's like the opening night lineup, we can do a lot with the pill draw. I'll go through all the options. We're not going to actually draw pills for these drivers because I'm just going to use the 3-week point average, so they don't need it. So we're actually going to do that. But we also have the fast check-in process. This is just going to pick a number for me without me having to open up a window and have them draw or anything like that. This one, before I pick a driver, a window opens up, they pick a number, then we pick a driver. This one we can put in manually the number. So we do that when we're checking in the driver. This one, after we check in the driver, they can hit the button and draw a number. And this one is after we check in a driver, we can put in the number off to the side in the entries screen. We're able to set the pill number as high or as low as we want. I can't do that right now because I said no pill draw. We're also able to do a rebase where we set the low number for the pill. So if we wanted to do, say we wanted to put that number to 50, 50 would be the best number you could draw, 49 would be the worst. We're also able to do the transponder options. We can do no transponders. We can allow rentals or not. We're also able to save these as defaults. So very likely you probably won't go back to this often. You'll just save it as a default and it will remember how we did this. But I wanted to show off what we were doing here and how that would all kind of play in and what you could do with this screen. This also works for each class individually. So we have that going as well. So we can set this up so if I have some class that are doing pill draw, we can do that, which is actually what happened in this one. We actually have the late models here that we're using pill draw. These were not, for example. So we're going to move right along. Everything inside of the race management kind of flows down here. We're going to use MRP Live. I was using MRP Live earlier, and I've connected to Orbitz. So earlier today I was using that, but let's set it up. We'll take a look at what we would do to get Orbitz going. If you're using Westhold, we will return back to Westhold here in a minute. Let me get one sec here. Let's pause this. Okay. All right. There we go. Sorry, working on the screen issue there. Okay. See if that works out a little bit better. So in here we have, we're going to use the scoreboard settings. We're going to take the IP address that we have here. We're going to copy it. So I'm going to copy the IP here, put that into this. We're going to take the TCP IP port of 50,000. We're going to put that here. And then we are going to take this code. That's what links it up to today. And if we actually hit launch from web, it'll actually pull that in there. The other thing is we have an assignments path. So this is where the files are going to go. So I actually make a different file folder on my desktop for each date inside of the system there. So inside of my computer, and this is where we're going to find them here. So I have that set up and ready to go. And once it's connected, we'll just ignore this and we'll come back to it in just a second. Here, we've also made some changes to MRP Live. So if you do have, an old version, we haven't taken a look at it since, since the fall. Make sure that it's updated. You can download it here. There's a good MRP Live. Make sure it's updated. It'll also prompt you. So just make sure that you have the most up-to-date version there. We also have the new best lap keywords. This won't really affect anything inside of like IMCA because they don't do the qualifying. But if you're doing hot laps, for example, and we wanted to show off the hot laps inside of the hot lap times, it'll actually use these keywords to show the best lap instead. We're going to move on to entries. We have all of our classes here that I've set up. We can switch in between them here if I need to. And then here we'll have a list of all of the drivers that have either registered with me or have raced with me in the past. So I am able to kind of filter that out up here by first name, last name, or car number. Click on it, and we're going to see a few things about this driver. So we have his car number in here. We can change this, but by default, we're using that 01. We can put in a car owner. We're putting in the pay going to that owner. If I wanted to change that, we can do that here. Just hit the magnifying glass. You can see the owners that he has used in the past. You can also see all of our owners that we've used. Or we can go to all owners right here and add a team. And so when we add a team, it's going to want another car and the car number. Add it. We can also set it as the default. So that is set up, it's ready to go. We can put in the transponder number. Looks like he owns his own as the 1002. We also mark if it's rented. We're able to see if he has done my online registration right here, or if he's done other registrations. You can see how old he is. You can see that he's claimed his profile, which does a lot of really cool things for him. We're actually going to see some of those in a bit. We have his address on file here as well. So when it prints out checks or anything like that, it'll be there. That's the address that's going to be in the contact list here. So we also have the lineup override. So that's going to start. So let's say for whatever reason, we just didn't want him to start at the front. Maybe he showed up late. Maybe he was a rookie, didn't feel comfortable starting up front. Maybe we just don't like him. We can actually start him at the back of the all heats there, check him in. So we have a question as to it's only the list is this class or it's all drivers. This is actually going to be all of the drivers for the class, not just for, so it's all drivers in my 410 wing sprint class. That's actually going to be the drivers that you'd see in here. All my guys are troopers. They race multiple times, but if you filter in, this list here is all my 410 wing sprint car drivers with their default cars and transponders. And that's what it's showing here. So yours is actually going to be, when you see here, per each class. So so that full list will be there. So we can keep entering in drivers this way. So enter it in here. I mean, he seems a little young to be racing, but who am I to judge? You know, looking over everything, entering them in. And he's checked in, ready to go. But we have other ways of entering in drivers. So let's say we have a driver show up and he has never raced with me before. Driver Bruce Wayne. So we can see that Bruce here is in the system. We can enter them in there. That's good to go. We also could search here for a brand new driver. If they haven't ever raced anywhere, we could find them in there and put in their hometown. So you do that. I will say when you're putting in drivers, to make sure that you're making sure that they don't have name variations, especially if you're doing the IMCA lineups like this, where it's point averages. Because if you create a new driver, he won't have a point average by default. So it will throw off the lineups if you do that. So kind of try to be vigilant about that. Also make sure you're putting in a hometown. It will ask you for a hometown. So, you know, ask them what their hometown is and add that in. To sort of avoid or alleviate that, you do have this scan barcode function here. So I'd mentioned that he had claimed his profile, so he had a bunch of cool benefits for doing that. One of those is that on the MyRacePass app, he has his own hard card section there where you can actually scan him in and it'll pull up his profile. So we'll have the correct profile each time. So they can have that right there from their phone. You might know some of your drivers have an actual physical like credit card sized card. That will work too. I still recommend that they claim their profile. It is a lot harder to lose your phone. So that is that. So we have a question. If you have to switch between classes for every driver, yeah, if they're in a different class, we would have to switch because this is going to be the entry list for this class. And some have mentioned that you can have a different tab open for each class. You can do that. You also can have multiple computers if you wanted to go that route. Since this is based over to the cloud, you could actually have multiple computers and multiple lines if you wanted to do that. And I know some folks do. They might have two lines where they say if you're in this class or this class, you do it that way. But you do, since this is based on which class they are racing. There. So let's keep entering in some dudes. Let's import from a previous race. So if we were doing a 2-day show, say, we're importing some folks from yesterday, we could actually pull in this list, and I'm only going to pick a couple, and actually move in the transponder numbers. If we were doing pill draw, we could actually pull in the pill draws as well, and it'll import everybody over. And like I said, this is really great for like a 2-day show. Friday into Saturday, a lot of the same guys are going to be there. Kind of pull in that list, and you have it all ready to go. We also can do this speed entry button right down here at the bottom. We have it. See that clicked? And you can just kind of click the driver, and it'll check them in. This driver has a duplicate transponder number. Does not like that, so it's going to yell at me. You can change that up here. You can enter in, which drivers are going to be there. This way, if you say you know that we have everything we need from Terry Tenderloin here. So I'm just entering in the transponder numbers for these drivers. We do need to have the correct one, missing 8. So that those correct numbers, that's going to be what links the two together, so it knows which one's which. And because I'm using the demo version of the transponders, I am locked to 10 drivers. We can enter in more drivers if we wanted to, but unfortunately, I don't have a whole bunch of transponders and race cars for it, so kind of locked to 10 today, unfortunately. But you can go way, way more than that. Also on this screen, we can reorder the drivers by their actual car number or their last name. Yep, it will. Yes, it will prompt you if you duplicate transponder numbers. So this guy was 1010. So if he was 101 and we tried to leave, it's gonna say, hey, can't do that. And then, like I said, it won't let you do exact duplicates for car numbers as well. So we have that. We also have a transponder list here, so we can actually pull the list of all of my drivers. So if we do have drivers that rented a transponder, it will show up here. You can have them sign off on that, which is really handy for as well. A lot of other reports here, and we'll go over a lot more of those reports as the kind of the meeting goes on here. The other thing I'm going to show is we're also able to edit some of these as well if we need to. So if we need to change the car number, we can do that here. You can also assign a MRP card from here and add in some contact information if you need to, kind of last minute, do that. So we'll move right ahead into the races. So this class I've raced a few times throughout the season, and you actually see all of the different setups that I've done, and we're actually able to copy that exact setup, which copies the transfers, the sponsors, everything. So it copies exactly what you did the last time, which is great if you want to, when you have this many drivers, we do this kind of setup, so you can copy it. But I'm going to show you how to manually add those. So for me right now, let's just add a heat and an A feature. We can add way more than that if we wanted to. So we can add features all the way down to a Z feature, which, by the way, if you ever run a Z feature, can you let me know about it? Because I've actually never seen one. It seems like it'd be real intense, and I just want to be a part of that. Sorry for that aside. We're also able to do features, heats, dashes, qualifying, specials, and hot laps. So we can even add the hot laps into there, which I recommend you do, especially if you're using the transponders, that transponder integration. It gives you time to send over the list. It'll also pick up via MRP Live, so we'll actually be able to see what those times are. It's very cool for your drivers to have. You don't have to import anything over, but your drivers can see how they did in hot laps, which keeps your drivers, happier. And also, some fans are really into that and want to know how those went. So let's add that in here. We can change the names of these in here. So if we wanted to go with something different from Heat 1, we could. We could change, add some sponsors, add some laps. Let's do that. Put a time limit, how many go to tech. We can set how many lineups are per row. So we can do 1, 2, or 3 wide for those lineups. We also can do them per race or from group. So this from group is going to be more of a passing point kind of lineup. Since we're doing IMCA today, we're actually just going to do per race, which is going to take the best drivers out of each race. For example, we have 2 heats here. So if we do 4, we're going to have 8 because it'll be 4 and 4. We could also do from group, and that just give us exactly 4. I'm just going to set it to all. Since I do have 10 drivers, just send everybody. If I had a whole bunch of drivers show up late, we can actually add more races in here the same way that you had before. So you could add a B feature in here. You also can just click add heats if we wanted to just add more heats right now. So you have a lot of flexibility in setting a lot of these things up. So let's go into lineups, and we will see all of our drivers here that were in our entry list. And we could definitely just click them in if we wanted to, move them around, X amount. Definitely do that. I won't stop you. But a faster way to do that would be to calculate the lineups. And you're actually able to choose the lineup that you want to use. So today I'm going to use the IMCA point average heat. And we'll do that. You can see our driver that we sent to the back because we just didn't like him is back here. We're also able to share this to Facebook and Twitter. This also updates on the MyRacePass app. So I have a question about the from group. Will it pick the best based off their transponder time? The from group will actually take, it's built more for passing points. So it takes the best out of each heat. So from group takes the best based on points generally. So the best overall in the passing points. So actually something like taking the best from the qualifying time is going to be dependent on the lineup, not the transfers. Anyway, so we have that. We're going to send the lineups into here. It's going to send it. We can actually import our groups and runs into orbits. And I do see the question that you're asking, and I am going to do that now. So we have our driver here, and we have somebody show up late. So let's say it's Paul Pork here. We're going to set Paul to the back of all races, and I'll add in his transponder. Paul's not going to appear since I only have access to 10. But what we'll do, we've added him to the back here. He'll show up. We could either recalculate, or since I'm penalizing Paul, I'm just going to move him directly to the back. And then you just send the lineups again. It'll ask me if I want to save it. I do. He'll be in here. And then I generally just delete the race that was set up. I import them and then just import them again. It should be in there. And be moved around, but he's in there, ready to go. He won't show up in the track simulator, so we're going to actually just pretend that he did not start. So he spent all this time and trouble setting him up. He didn't appear. What a jerk. And I'm going to get the track simulator out. I have to use this track simulator for MRP Live purposes here. So let's start this one. Set her green. I would import the run. So you just import the run there for that driver. Had a question if we'd have to import the new groups. I just import, because you always import runs in there. And so now they're going around the track, and fans can actually view this in MRP Live. We can view this as well. Here, we're actually able to follow. So let's say we're a Hank Ham person, we can do that. You might also notice this transfer line here. We actually have the transfer line. If we had set transfers besides all, it'll actually put that bar here for whichever way to do that. So yeah, anytime that you resend the lineups, it's just going to send the most updated version into MyRacePass. So I think they're going to be getting ready to auto finish here very soon because I set to 5 laps. I did. So it's going to do that. We'll stop the track simulator. We'll hit the stop button right here. That's its cue to know that it's done. So we're done, ready to go. So we'll stop that. I'm actually going to close this because we're going to do Westhold next. So it's, you won't do this, probably. I don't think anybody's going to be running both transponder systems at the same time, but just showing off both and how to set them up. So let's go into our results. You'll see here that we have our latest pending race. I'll pull it over. It did not pick up Paul Pork. That's okay. We'll put him in, and we'll put him in as DNS. Also double check and take a look at everything so we can see if they did not start or didn't finish, didn't start, disqualified, black flagged, and no passing points, which we'll avoid because we're not using passing points today. We can move drivers around, so we can actually just say this guy should go up here. We can share this to Facebook and Twitter. If it was a real race, Paul Pork would already be lined up. He was already in the lineup. So Paul got sent over with everybody else. I just was locked to 10. For the main, Paul will be lined up here right along with everybody else. It'll send all 11. All right. I had a question about what happens if there's a transponder discrepancy. And for that, I'm actually going to give a little bit of a tease for the next show that we're doing about that, which will be Monday. There's a whole webinar planned for MRP Live troubleshooting, and that is a troubleshooting sort of deal. So I did see that, so go over that. Just kind of getting the thing there. So, yep. All right. Sorry. Just kind of going over, making sure, answering everybody's things here. Again, share the Facebook and Twitter. We also have reports that'll show it, and hitting that save button updated that lots of places. So it updated website, on the app, automatically without us doing anything. And again, that's if you have a MyRacePass website. Also updates the MyRacePass website itself. So here we have our A feature. It's going to be kind of second verse, same as the first. We're just going to do our point average feature. Since I really didn't like Paul, since he wasted my time, I set him to the back of all races. You can see that here. If you want to see why they lined him up or why the point average is what it was, we have a report there that goes over exactly that right here. It's IMCA point average report. That does that by the class. There, so you have access to the point average report. These guys end up with a ton of different points, and I apply a lot of different schemes. So it's going to look a little different than how you guys would normally have it. We're going to go back to MRP Live now. We're going to set up the Westhold system. So for Westhold, we would just change a few different things. So I pulled the different numbers in different spots. So this IP address, I'm going to copy that and put that right here. I'm going to put this 50,000 right here. Make sure this enable network button is clicked. The MRP live code, we're going to copy this and put that here. That's going to be different for each race that you're racing at. And then the assignments path, we're actually going to, for me, it's going to be different than you, probably. But for me, it is in my C drive in the race manager folder for assign. Wherever it is, generally C drive. There we go. Oh, and I made one mistake. I forgot to select the right thing there. This is Westhold transponder system. I had to build with both, so I'm doing both. So we're just kind of transitioning to both here for those. For Westhold, now it's all set up. You can see my assignments here. We're actually just going to do pretty much the same thing. And we're going to send lineups. And my lineups are going to be in here already for my A main. And it'll start it up. So you can see that as it's moving on, it just goes right there for me. When we finish it, we'll just finish the fastest A feature that anybody ever saw. We'll stop it. We can save this if we want. I'm not going to. I'm just going to stop and go right into my results. I'll move everybody over. Again, this driver, due to the way that the demo worked, wasn't counted, but we're just going to treat him as a, we'll actually say he didn't finish. We'll say that. It'll be in there. We'll save it, and we can go right into the points. Before I do that, if you have any questions, Alt and H is the place to do that. Be answering any questions. We're going to open it up to questions here pretty soon after we get to the end of this race. And I know if you have a question, I know someone else generally has that question as well. So don't be afraid to ask away. It is your time. We'll go right into the points and pay. And so before I actually started tonight, I added in the IMCA pay or IMCA schedule for points, and then the pay schemes, the different schemes here. We'll hit add. Now, based on that, it has actually created that for me based on those exact points. You can actually set those up yourself in here in points/pay schemes. You can see that in the global/sanction, there's an IMCA scheme that goes over that. We've also broken up the payouts as well. We're going to be going over this. We've actually revamped this. This might be a little bit different than what some people are used to. We've revamped this in the off season. So that's kind of a teaser for next week. We can also put in adjustments. So we can adjust points in here if we wanted to. So if I really didn't like this guy, let's give him negative 50 points. Let's give this guy an extra $100. I just really like him. And we'll save it. And now that we've done that, the adjustments are here. Poor Biff Beef Senior, negative 16 points. You hate to see it. We're also able to, yep, I would be fired and probably lose my sanction things. But he's fictional, so he doesn't mind. We can hit create payments from here. We can print out checks if we wanted to. Down here, I still say to create the payments. That actually works with the new reporting that we have for end of the year kind of things. When we create checks, we can put in the We have a specific format. This is going to be the 2-receipt style of check. Create it. And if we have that driver's address, like Kale here, it'll actually put that in there. Those addresses are going to be the addresses from the contact list. And for me, I got those when he registered online for my track. We have a variety of different reports that you can use. We can export this to the desktop version of QuickBooks. So we have a report here that'll show exactly the check numbers that we used in case we needed to double check that. We also have a different reports here to go over some of the different pay. So we can go to points awarded, for example. And we can see some things here. We can customize this one and get rid of the points. Hometowns, we just have a signature. So you will be able to do a report that you'll run at the end. And then if you're keeping track of the tax ID information, you'll be able to create those elsewhere. And so I can actually show you that report. We had a question about the 1099 report. So this yearly report, this actually has kept up with all my drivers earning over $600 for this year for the racetrack, and it actually breaks it down into exactly where they got that money and if they are an owner or a driver there. So you can actually see all of that. Yeah, that would be a very quick night of racing. If you have any questions, this is the time to ask away. So we're gonna leave it open for questions, answer anything about anything you've seen here, any specific questions. It is, like I said, your time to go for it and ask away. I'll be answering all the questions that we get to. To get the report I showed you, you would need to do the create payments. Yes. The report was the yearly payout / 1099. So it's way at the bottom of competitor, or way at the bottom of point / pay reports. But yeah, to get that report to read right, it would need to be you would need to create payments. It works off of the payments down at the bottom here. Yep, that report, you'd still need to create payments even if you don't print checks. So asked about the tax ID information. You'd have to keep that elsewhere. So right now, tax information is not kept on MyRacePass. I like to say is tax information, social security numbers. It's kind of like radioactive material. You have to be very careful with it, and you have to store it exactly right. Otherwise, a lot of people can get hurt. And so it is something that we've definitely talked about. It is requested, but when we do it, if and when we do it, it would need to be very secure. Can't get the laps to transfer from MRP Live to Orbits. It is going to be the laps that are in on the races. So whatever you put the laps down here, that's going to be what it pulls. Back to late, I have driver entry. If a backgate forgets to send the new lineups, you would have to just message them somehow. So the question was, if the backgate forgets to send the new lineup so the scorer's never seen the change, can you add it to the type of notification so the scorers can see it quickly? I'm not sure. So generally different people do it different ways. So I'd say the best way to be to radio that in. It is still going to pick up the driver somewhere. So that'll if they have a transponder, if they have a transponder, it will still get picked up in the system, and so the scoring team will still know it. They just won't be in the lineup. So if you still send them out there with a heat kind of appended to the back, MyLaps or Orbits or Westhold, Race Manager, kind of keeping it even, will still pick up that transponder and it'll still hit. And when you import the results over, the system will get confused, and then that will be the prompt to the scoring team up at the tower that that person needs to be there. Because it's always going to pick up exactly what's being told in the transponder system. Yep. If you have a driver with 2 transponders on, that would, well, driver with 2 transponders really wants to make sure that you're picking up on that. He really needs you to know. But yeah, that would get a little weird. But again, Alt and H is the place to ask any questions. Be going over that here. While I do that, I actually have here, if the lineups that you're using have redraws kind of built into them for the sanctions, it will do that. You also can do a redraw right from here. So you can click it and it'll ask you how many you want to redraw. You can put that in here or have it do it, so we can take a look at that. You can see that right here. You're also able to do inverts. So you can see that invert, and it'll just do that flash. So that is, that's something there that you have access to. If you need it, say you're doing it on top of another lineup, you can do that there. We have some other tools and things available as well that you can do at the track. So the lineup monitor, which some people use. A lot of people have just been pushing folks just to get the app. I have seen a picture, someone just put on the whiteboard, get the MyRacePass app. So that has happened before. It is free for them to do. It's free for everybody to see the lineups, the results, the entries, points. And then if you're using transponders, it's $7.99 for the year to view everywhere that we use that. So it's really good value for them if they want to do that. They don't have to, but again, lineups right from their phone. They don't have to go anywhere. Yep, so question was, anytime the backgate person makes a change, they'll need to send lineups so Westhold picks it up? Yes. So if you change the lineup, you'd have to send it again. So you can see that there. And then also what I've noticed is that if you have it set to the assign screen, when you're sending lineups to Westhold, you'll have to kind of switch screens so it refreshes instead of Westhold that change was made. So you just click out and click back in and you'll see it. So I have a question about the announcer screen. The announcer screen is able to see some things here. So they also can see the lineup monitor. You also can give them the lap viewer. Some people do, which is what you saw on my screen, but more blown up. And I have my computer set to dark mode, so you might wonder why yours might be a different color. My computer's just set to dark. But yeah, the announcer screen, you can see a little bit more about a specific driver in each class. So I actually have this filled out. So the announcer screen shows a little bit more than that. So if a driver's claimed their profile, which I touched on for having the card, they're actually able to put in their biography information. So you can see all that. We can see the results for not just this track, but other places that they've raced at. So you can see that Kale somehow managed to race sports compacts and dirt late models at 2 separate racetracks in Washington and Nebraska. We can see his points. We can see notes about him. So we can do that. So the question about draw redraw. If you have a draw redraw, it will automatically do the redraw for you. It can. So you can do that. And if the lineup that you're using, which some lineups do, like I know Westhold opening night, I believe has a redraw attached to it. It will do the redraw, and you can either put in the numbers or you can do it automatically. My drivers are fictional, so they don't care if I draw numbers for them. They are they're very passive with how I do rain redraws. But you can do those however you'd like. Like I said, be right here. If the lineup doesn't have a redraw automatically, like if we wanted to do a redraw on this one. But yeah, great questions coming in. Alt and H, the spot to ask more questions. So, yeah, and also we're on the subject of pill draws. We have a report here too that will keep track of the driver's pill draws, their averages for those pill draws. So generally, the more that they draw, the more that drivers will tend towards 50 or the halfway point of whatever your it is. So, but yep, I've heard that drivers can be pretty superstitious. I'm not superstitious. I'm only a little stitious. But if you do want to break from the bad jokes, Alt and H is the spot to do to do those. I can stop with the bad jokes. Also, we are doing more of these webinars. The fun just does not stop. We're going to be doing those Monday and Tuesday next week. So the announcer does have to be an admin to see the announcer screen. So yep. To view the, they do have to be an admin for that. If you're an admin, you can actually view who's an admin, who's not inside of here in the settings and members. And so here you can see my administrators right there. You can also add in more or not. And other people can add you in as an admin if you're already an admin. So sometimes Orbit sends the results back. It'll be the previous race. So that could be a couple of different things. One thing you might want to check is in here that you don't have any floating files inside the pending. So you can see this uploads here. You see pending files, and you can see the complete files that have been sent. It could also be that they're bleeding together, and there's that stop button. But these are kind of things that if you do have those happen throughout the year, please reach out to us. That's something we really want to make sure that we know about. So please reach out to support@myracepass.com. That's the best place for it. Or if you do have my email me directly. And I believe every one of you has received an email from me at some point in time. So you should have my email. Let me know about that. We want to get to the bottom of it. But yeah, this pending tab right here, just check it because it could be a floating. If you think that the file should be there and it's not, it will probably be in pending, and then you can clear it out. But that's also things we'll be going over in some of the future webinars here in a bit. So So we're going to leave it open for questions. I will also at this time ask if you'd put in your name and your track or tracks so we can take down attendance. I would appreciate that. I will mark you down for all of that, for the drawing. If you do have any questions, you might want to make sure to wait just a little bit for everybody to kind of cycle through and let those add in so I can see that there. That is okay. And again, any questions that you have, we'll leave it open for a little bit more here. Going over some of those. And also, these will be available for viewing tomorrow morning. Generally try to add these in before lunch. So you can find that on our YouTube page right here. In your admin page, you can find that. We have its own playlist for it. You can also go to myracepass.com/help, or not help, myracepass.com/YouTube. Jeez, it's been a long day. But yeah, that would be the place to do that. So make sure we got all of those in. I think we are good there. And then, like I said, have any questions, let me know. I'll leave it open for just a few more minutes. A lot of great questions though here, and that's really what it's about, making sure we get those answered for you guys. Right, yep, it is. It's Wednesday. We do have some webinars lined up here for throughout the month. We do have some Saturday webinars planned too, March 7th, I believe. So there's, we will get you. There are a lot of days, a lot of material to cover. But we're excited to do that for you. Again, AltNH, place to ask any questions. Leaving it open for a few more minutes here. With any questions that you may have, always happy to do that. The points and pay is, I believe, next Monday. We're going to be doing a points and pay kind of deep dive into what we've done there, because we have updated it. It's quite a different look there. For the lineup monitor, can you see the whole lineup without scrolling up and down? Well, yes, if your screen is big enough. So it should. It all depends on. So for that, it depends on how big your screen is. If your screen is really small, it might not catch everything because it does want to show it in good enough size so people can see it. So I had a question about next Monday, will you swap meeting IDs? Yeah, the meeting IDs are the same still. So there's an early and a late show for the meeting ID. You just need to make sure that they're going to be the same ones, but just make sure you're in the right ones. It switches. Had a question about specific classes for that. So every series should have its own specific class that's assigned to it. For the class they were asking about was World of Outlaws late models. I'm not sure which specific one they are, but I believe they are listed as either a late model or super late. But when you add them into your configuration, it will say. And if they aren't, for whatever reason, it'll prompt us here to link them. Because we actually control the class linking there for series. What a great question. So again, it's been great speaking with everybody. Happy to answer all the questions that y'all have. Excited to be working with y'all again. I'll be at 2020. So perfect vision. But anyway, seems like that's all the time I have for today. So question about that. So yep, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us at support at MyRacePass. You can also view the YouTube tutorial tomorrow if you do have any questions. Again, thanks so much for stopping by, and I hope you have a great rest of the night. Have a good one.